Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Monday, the 10th of Safar 1445, corresponding with the English date 28th of August 2023. Hazrat Wala is saying, I have the kitab in front of me, Aina Nahnu min Akhlaqis Salaf, the character of the pious predecessors, Salaf-e Salihin ke akhlaq. Now, how far are we away from this type of akhlaq? How far have we gone from the desired akhlaq? What much effort this kitab was put together, but what to do? Kaun padhta hai? Who reads, Maulsa? So, jo samne aaya bhi, whatever I have in front of me, I'm going to relate it to you. Allah Ta'ala put some faida in there. So here, Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Aban al-Qadi relates that Abu Yahya Zakaria as-Saji said that Al-Muzani said, I thought to myself that if there is anyone who can remove the misgiving which I have about Tawheed, then it must be Imam Shafi'i. It must be Imam Shafi'i. I therefore went to him when he was in the masjid in Egypt. Now Hazrat Wala is saying it was in Shaban and we were at the small masjid there, and Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab the entire night there just took out and started speaking on the topic of Taqdeer. Now this Taqdeer, the masala of Taqdeer is of utmost importance. Now Hazrat Haji Imdadullah Rahimahullah used to say that I'm completely contented, satisfied. I have no reservations, objections, or anything troubling me regarding these three important things. Out of the three, Hazrat Wala mentions here two. One is that of Taqdeer, that I have complete Shar-e Sadr of Taqdeer. I have no objections, misgivings, etc. regarding Taqdeer. The second one is that of Mushajarat, the disputes that took place amongst the Sahaba. Now, so many people had that type of misgiving in their heart regarding these mushajarat and debate or argument amongst the Sahaba, due to which they went astray. You know, on one occasion, listen to this, Hazrat Wala is saying that this person comes along and says, Dekha nahi, did you people not see do Maulvi kaise? Lar gaye, Ali or Muawiyah. Allahu Akbar. This man comes along and he says, don't you see how these two Maulvis fought amongst themselves? And what did he mean by that? He said, Ali and Muawiyah. So people go into such type of misgivings, misunderstandings, etc. regarding these departments, very, very important things. Taqdeer is one there, and the other one is mushajarat of the Sahaba. One person comes along and he says, Kaun haq parta? Now who was on the truth? Tell me that first. Was it Ali or Muawiyah? Radiyallahu ta'ala an. So kisi buzrug ne farmaya, a buzrug, wali of Allah ta'ala, gave him an answer that tumse us par sawal nahi hoga Qiyamat ke din. That listen, on the day of Qiyamah you will not be asked regarding that who was on haq, Muawiyah or Ali. Jao, move from here and go and do your work. Do what you have to do. Apne iman ko bachana hai. Look after this iman of yours. You know, in the masala of Tawheed, a person then goes, now who created this here, and who created that, and who created that, and then he goes down that road, down that path, until eventually he reaches close to the point of destruction, where his mind and heart starts asking him, so who created Allah? So in cheezon mein ulajhna nahi chahiye. You don't get stuck in these things because they are of utmost importance and it's got to do with your iman. One is that of Tawheed and the other one is that of the mushajarat, the disputes between the Sahaba. On one occasion, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came out, and the Sahaba were discussing about a taqdeer. On inquiry, when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam finds out what are they talking about, he reprimands them, he scolds them, and he says that the people of the past went astray because of this very same thing, that they started going deep into these topics. So nevertheless, we continue here. So he says, Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Aban al-Qazi relates that Abu Yahya Zakaria as-Saji said that Al-Muzani, Imam Muzani said, I thought to myself that if there is anyone that can remove the misgiving which I have about Tawheed, then it must be Imam Shafi'i. Imam Shafi'i was a great Imam. His whole school of fiqh, the thought school of jurisprudence and fiqh. So I therefore, he says, Imam Muzani, I therefore went to him when he was in the masjid in Egypt. I sat before him and I said, there is a question about Tawheed which is lurking in my heart. I know that there is no one equal to you in knowledge. What answer do you have in this regard? Imam Muzani is saying, Imam Shafi rahimahullah became angry and said, do you not know where you are? I replied, yes. He said, this is the place where Allah drowned Fir'aun. Do you know whether Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam permitted asking any question about this? I replied, no. He said, did the Sahaba speak about it? I replied, no. He asked, do you know how many stars are there in the sky? I replied, no. He asked, do you have any knowledge of any single star? Do you know its species? Do you know anything about its rising and setting? Do you know from what it is created? I replied, no. He said, you are seeing something of the creation with your own eyes and you know nothing about it, yet you want to speak about its creator? Allahu Akbar. He then asked me about a ruling about wudu. He asked me a ruling about wudu, and I did not know the answer. He then presented 4 different scenarios about the ruling for wudu. I still could not choose the correct answer. He said, thus, wudu is something which you have to do 5 times a day, yet you cast aside knowledge about it, and you want to speak about the knowledge of the Creator? Whenever you experience any misgiving about Tawheed, you must turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to the following words of Allah, wa ilahukum ilahu wahid. The deity of all of you is only one deity. La ilaha illa huwa ar-Rahmanur Rahim. There is no deity except He. Huwa ar-Rahmanur Rahim. He is very compassionate and extremely merciful. Inna fi khalqis samawati wal ard. And then the ayat goes on. Surely in the creation of the heavens and the earth. Now, obtain proofs from the creation for the Creator. Look at the makhluk, and you will understand how great Allah is, and do not go to pains in learning about things which are beyond your intelligence. He said, Imam Muzani says, I made tawbah. Umar bin Abdul Aziz asked, was it him or was it Shah Jahan, I think, I'm not sure, asked his ministers there, tell me how many sunnats are there? He asked them about wudu or was it about salat? And they couldn't answer. He then went on to say to them, why don't you go to the ulama and go and learn from them? Now in fact they even make kalam on this dialogue and on these statements between the two, the ruler at that time and his ministers, saying that he so beautifully presented that to them, and in all of that, volumes could have been written in the great message that he was giving. Meaning, you people don't even know the masail of wudu and salat. Number two, between the lines was this, that you are affluent. Go for this tuition. Go and sit at the feet of the ulama and go and learn this. Due to which you will learn, deen will become common, your deen and your Islam will be rectified, and the ma'ash and the livelihood of the ulama will be seen to as well. You know about that incident, that for 40 days do this, and then the fountains of wisdom will burst forth from your heart. Nevertheless, the youngster carried out the amal. He done what he had to do, and then after 40 days he comes to his mother and he says, "Ma, I done this but nothing's happening." His mother said to him, "Son, tell me, did you ever for even one moment turn your gaze to the heavens and think and ponder about it? Look at the skies, look at the mountains. Have you ever pondered about the creations, looking at the creation, trying to understand how great Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is?" He said, "No." And then how would you expect anything when you are not even pondering over how great the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is? Now Allama Sharani said that I tried to the best of my ability that it doesn't become common and popular and it doesn't go around the matter of wahdatul wujud, wahdatul shuhud, etc. But what to do? It went around and the fitna went around with it, it spread. Abul Hasan Abdul Malik Al-Maymuni narrates that a man said to Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, "I went to Khalf al-Bazar to advise him because I heard that he relates this hadith from Al-Ahwas on the authority of Abdullah. Ma khalaqallahu shay'an a'zam," and it carries on. Nevertheless, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah said it is not appropriate for him to relate that hadith in these times. He was referring to the test, the trial and tribulation which he was put through. The full text of the hadith reads as follows: "Ma khalaqallahu shay'an a'zama min ayatil kursi," that Allah Ta'ala did not create any thing greater than Ayatul Kursi. Okay, now we continue. So Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab was very, very meticulous about this year. Absolutely meticulous. Let me tell you about Hazrat Tanvi. Somebody asked him about these things also, Wahdatul Wujud and etc., and told him to speak about it. And immediately he denied. He answered in the negative and he said, "I won't. Because of it, fitna will spread and people will become confused." In fact, when Hazrat Maulana Sirajul Haq etc. came, then Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab said to him that you people go etc. But what do? You should learn. You should know how to explain to people. In fact, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab in his Majlis would never ever speak about things of that nature. In fact, his style and his andaz was that not to make rad of bid'at. And he would go on to say, when you do that, people have already from before established their dalils to support their bid'at. So when you say that, they'll say this and it will carry on. But ijabi taur par jawab dena chahiye. Give your answers in this way. In which way? Sunnat ko pesh karo. Go to the people and present sunnat to them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam done this. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam done that. When you present sunnat, a person will not be able to refute that. And no ikhtilaf will come about also. Due to which, the barakat of which, today we are working. In that time, what type of halat there was here in Allahabad, that even two people could not come together and sit. Look at this here today. It is all because of the barakat of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab. In fact, Maulana Yunus Jaunpuri, what did he say? That he spoke about the excellence of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab. In what sense? He said that he came, but he had such a scenario in front of him. And what was that all about? It was all about that Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab handled it in such a way. In fact, he would never even take a name or refer to this or that or the other, bid'at or Barelvi or this or that or the other. He would not even bring such thing like that on his tongue. In fact, now we've got everything easy. But when Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab came here, at that time things were much different. Al-Marwazi relates, I took Ibrahim al-Husri, who was a righteous man, to Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Ibrahim said to him, my mother saw such and such a dream about you. She also made mention of paradise. He said, brother, people used to relate similar things to Sahal ibn Sulama, and he began going out and shedding blood. He added, a dream ought to please a believer and should not deceive him. Meaning, and that's another thing here Hazrat Wala is saying, where people get caught in this of dreams. Al-Hussein al-Ataki said, I heard Ibrahim al-Harabi saying to a group of people sitting, that who do you consider to be a stranger in your time? One of them said, that a stranger is the one who is far away from his hometown. Another said, a stranger is one who has left his beloveds. Ibrahim said, a stranger in our times is a righteous person who lived amongst righteous people. When he enjoins good, they support him. When he prohibits evil, they assist him. And when he needs any worldly item, they bear the expense to obtain it for him. Then they all pass away while he remains all alone. While he remains all alone. Al-Dhahabi relates in his biography on Khalifa al-Mu'tazid Billah that Ismail al-Qazi said, I went to the Khalif on one occasion and he gave me a book. When I went through it, I noticed that it was a collection of slip-ups and mistakes made by ulama, through which concessions were made for him, meaning the Khalif. Anyway, the crux here, and he goes on, the author of the book is an atheist. He asked, are the ahadith in it not authentic? I replied, indeed. However, the scholar who permitted an intoxicant did not, he done this, he done that. He's going into a deep discussion here. But what did he do? He then ordered the book to be burnt. So here, Hazrat Wala is trying to tell us and emphasizing on our minds that we also sit here and we say this and that. But we should be so careful, due to which whenever we speak, no type of a fitna must come about and a confusion must come about. So Allah Ta'ala bless us with every type of good. And Allah Ta'ala make it such that we are the means and we spread the deen and iman. We understand it and we make our children understand it also. Nevertheless, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, the andaz that he went about in doing his work here in Allahabad was on absolutely a new style and a new way. Bilkul nayi taur par. And हमको इसको समझना चाहिए, and this is what we need to understand. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.